The simple fact that we became so angry and gave in to hatred of Luke's portrayal in The Last Jedi just proves that we do not know the Skywalkers as well as we thought we did. I am the Black Mandalorian, and welcome to my YouTube channel, where you will never find a more wretched hive of scum, villainy, and Star Wars lore. Please hit the subscribe button, and a like would be very well appreciated, you rebel scum. And drop a comment in the comment box down below if you would like to see more, and let me know what you'd like to see. Now, before we get started, I didn't like The Last Jedi at first. I do like The Last Jedi. Is it a perfect movie? By no means. But when it comes to Luke, I think that Luke ended up exactly how he always should have. And his portrayal in The Last Jedi truly gets to what George was talking about when he created Star Wars. Not just a struggle between good and evil, but a struggle between selfish and selfless.
It's about good and evil
Yeah.
in us, as well as our institutions. So, and the idea that some of us think we're really great people, but in the real world we're not. We're terrible people.
Or you
We
can
just
make
won't-
bad choices.
Well, you make bad choices, but you run your life in a very selfish way, and you think you're doing good when you're actually not.
Star Wars is a tale about the Skywalkers. First it was Anakin, then it was Luke, and now it seems like Rey, but it's really about Ben. And we can get into that in another video. But let's address the first two Skywalkers, Anakin and Luke, his son. Anakin is the chosen one. George has gone on record saying that Luke was not, although the story was told from Luke's point of view. The Skywalkers have hefty responsibilities. I mean, from jump, it's kind of like Neo in the Matrix. What did Cypher say? He's like, hey, you're here to save the world. That's what they were telling Anakin, from jump. As soon as he walked into the temple, you are the chosen one. He had people saying that maybe he wasn't. He had people saying maybe he was. What does this mean to a 10-year-old boy? What that instilled in Anakin was a sense of duty, yes, but also a sense of power. That he had power beyond what was normal to influence events to change them. And Luke has the same thing. Although Luke was portrayed as, this benign, swashbuckling hero, which he was, he also had the exact same faults that Anakin did. And they had very, very similar ripple effects. Although at first, it doesn't seem like it. So Anakin has a vision, right? Episode 2, Attack of the Clones. His mother's dying. She's being tortured. He is compelled by this vision to save someone that he loves. We know that Luke underwent something similar on Dagobah. Sacrifice Han and Leia? I think not. He had a vision of his friends in terrible pain on Cloud City in Bespin, right? He went to go save them. He had the power to do so. He believed, if I have the power to see this event, what on earth would stop me from using that power to change the event, to keep the people I love from dying, from going through pain? So that's what Anakin and Luke both decided to do. A noble cause, and I think that any of us in real life would take the same venture for our mother, for our sister and best friend. But what happened? It seems selfless to do so. It seems noble. It seems like you're thinking about somebody else, but what you are really trying to do is take control of those people's lives and the events. So what happens? We know that Anakin went back to Tatooine. He did rescue his mother, but she died anyway. And what happened? He started his descent into darkness. He murdered an entire village of Tusken Raiders. Didn't even feel bad about it. Loved it, in fact. Someday I will be the most powerful Jedi ever. Right? With Luke went to Cloud City, which got his friends in trouble in the first place because the trap was all set up just for Luke. So that's the reason that Han was encased in carbonite. That's the reason that Vader was going to leave a garrison at Cloud City, it was all centered around Luke and him coming. So had he never came, would his friends be in mortal danger? Probably not. What happened? He gets his hand cut off, finds out that Darth Vader is his father. So the Skywalkers have hefty responsibilities. They believe and they are told that they're supposed to save their friends. And they have the Force abilities to go along with them. But that fosters a need to control events, which is innately selfish, which is innately a foundation of the dark side of the Force. They struggle with control out of love, make no mistake, but the end result is always hurting people. Let's look at a secondary example between Luke and Anakin. Anakin in episode 3, he sees another vision of his wife dying. He didn't learn from the first time. So he decides without the shadow of a doubt, I will not lose you, Padme. Right? We know what happens. Unbeknownst to him, every action he took to prevent that vision from coming to pass made it come to pass, and he ended up as Darth Vader. The Republic goes down, and the Jedi go down with him. And this was all out of love. What happened when Luke had a secondary vision? Well, it's in the sequels. He had a vision that Ben would turn to the dark side. He sensed darkness rising in Ben, and out of love for his friends, his family, the galaxy, if I could prevent Darth Vader 2.0, another Skywalker, from turning to the dark side, by golly, I'm gonna do it. So Luke goes to execute his own nephew. And regardless of whether he followed through with it or not, he pushed Ben to the dark side by that action and created Kylo Ren and helped propagate the rise of the First Order. An example of selfish versus selfless. And it's funny that we give so much crap to The Last Jedi about how Luke was portrayed. I think I speak for everybody when I say that I wasn't ready for Luke to die. And it did hurt me. It still hurts me to this day. Do I want to change that? No. I would have liked to see more of Luke Skywalker, yes. And I think we still will. But Luke dying, after I thought about it and meditated on it, it made sense. Whenever he has acted selfishly, the galaxy has suffered, as we saw with his father before him. But when the Skywalkers act selflessly, they may be hurt, but the galaxy prospers. Let's look at two examples. The most selfless act we've seen Anakin do was as Darth Vader when he sacrificed himself to save his son and destroy the Emperor. I mean, he brought balance to the Force. There's really nothing else to extrapolate there. He died, the galaxy prospered. Now with Luke, it's not so obvious, but there are two examples. The first one, in Bespin. He would have rather died than to go with Darth Vader. And I say that the galaxy prospered by that act because that catalyzed Luke into dedicating himself to his Jedi training. He rushed off after he was with Yoda for a bit and said, hey, I've learned all I need to know. I'm good. I'm a Skywalker. I'll make it happen. I'll destroy Darth Vader, the Emperor. Yeah, whatever. He gets his hand cut off. He gives himself over to death. Catalyzes him into becoming a Jedi, which is what needed to happen in order for Anakin to bring balance to the Force. The second act of selflessness is when Luke, in episode 8, sacrificed himself to fight Ben. Now, what did that do? Not only did it allow the resistance to get away and to light the spark that would bring the fire that would burn down the First Order and all of that, he catalyzed Rey to become a Jedi. And who knows what he catalyzed in his nephew as well. But the point is, when the Skywalkers give themselves over to selflessness and they suffer, the galaxy prospers. Now, Luke, he knew that he had to do this. And as a matter of fact, it's funny that he keeps having to learn this lesson over and over again. This isn't the first time Luke has battled between selfishness and selflessness. I mean, he's tried to kill himself twice, not just on Bespin, but in episode 6, he tried to kill himself. A lot of you may not remember, but what happened when he walked into the Emperor's throne room? He said, I'll soon be dead and you along with me. So he gave himself over to Vader with no intention of leaving that room. He believed that everybody in there was going to die, him, his father, and the Emperor, that the rebels would succeed and blow up the Death Star, which they did, but he went there to die. He went there with the intention of selflessly giving his life for the galaxy, to bring balance to the Force. He never intended to live. Why are we acting like everything that Luke is doing is new? He is not out of character at all. He has made the same decisions with the same outcome as Anakin. When the Skywalkers act selfishly, the galaxy suffers. When the Skywalkers act selflessly, the galaxy prospers. So if you're still mad at Luke, I hope that you've given this argument some consideration. Because remember, the opposite of every truth is also true. Get in the comment box, subscribe, hit me with a like. Let me know what you guys would like to see next. May the Force be with you.